Hi, this is Sean from Cloud9 Spain. Thanks for being with us. With me today, I'm really excited. I have Lionel Lunshof, who's the sales director from RGZ Developers and Builders. Lionel, thank you so much for sparing some time in your, what I know is a very busy schedule. I really appreciate you coming in to have a chat with us. Mm-hmm. And you're a guy that's busy with a couple of pretty significant projects at the moment. But just to give you a little bit of, give us a little bit of background about you. You've been, I'm going to say you've been around a long time. That sounds awful, but I think when you get to like a certain level of experience here, you become a veteran. You've worked with a lot of big companies.
I've worked with the big companies. I came in 2002. 2001. I came to Spain. I started in Costa Blanca with one of the bigger players on the coast. It was Ocean Estates.
Yes, we all know Ocean.
All times. And in 2003, I joined the Port Medusa office of that same company. And from there on, I joined the bigger companies, as everybody does here. They move around a little bit in real estate companies. And always working here on the coast, always. Real estate, and then later, since the last 10, 12 years, more in the development sector. Yeah. Developing sector, construction sector, etc. And yes, now a good year and a half with RGZ Developers.
How's it going?
Good, good. Exciting times. Mainly because I moved up from, you've been here 24 years, so you'd like to go step forward, upwards. And everybody starts down there, obviously. Yep. And I like to think now that, yes, I'm working in the high end, the most luxury sector there is. So at the moment, we're doing villas in the price sector starting at 7-8 million euros.
Okay. So I guess that's more of a niche product, isn't it? It's not your mass market product.
No,
so you've not got people knocking on your door every day. But I guess in that market, there's actually not that much product, is there? There's not that many choices of new builds, I suppose.
The thing is, it's interesting that you mentioned that, because I had a conversation with another agent last week, and they mentioned as well, there's very little developers that are specialized, let's say, in the high-end luxury villa sector, individual villas with private pools. Yes, there are a lot of developers that do luxury apartments, 8 million euros, but not villas. And interesting detail that they mentioned was the stock of the resale market at the moment in the price range from 7 to 10 million euros. There's only about, in the Marbella area, I'm only speaking Marbella area, around 32 villas.
Right.
So we're coming now to a time, and it's all offer and demand at the end of the day, that beginning this year, the inventory is empty.
Yeah.
So automatically, we need product. Agencies, you need product. So that's what we're trying to do. But to deliver a product, you take 2 years, obviously. Yeah. We always mention as well to the agents, to the clients, that buying off plan has a benefit from beginning to end. You're looking probably at 35 to 40%. But sometimes the client, and mainly it's the wife obviously, that decides, that says, yes, darling, but I would like to move in 2 months, in 3 months, in 4 months. And that's where at the moment I'm lacking a little bit. So we have at the moment several developments ongoing. We have a product of 5 luxury villas in Camojan. They're starting the construction this month, and they will not be ready for the next 2 years. So we're trying to really complete that particular niche in the luxury high-end market.
Just to give it some context, so RGZ, very well-known developers and builders. So some projects they develop and promote, some they just build. Yeah. So just to name drop a few places, the Collection in Puente Romano, El Campanario Hills. Also they're building Dunique, which is a very lovely place on the.
Yeah, we developed the project Dunique, which was 96 units in total. We bought the land together with an investor, and basically designed the whole project, got to the license, etc. But then we came to the Collection Camojan, the 5 luxury villas, where we basically sold our shares and got the equity and moved out to this project. But there was a project in that day when we did the project Dunique. We were looking at 330 million euros in sales. And we were there yesterday on site to get a feeling again for the construction company that we're promoting, obviously. The front line corner unit penthouse, nearly 12 million euros. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's motored along, isn't it, this market?
But the market is there, Sean. The market is definitely there. I've noticed now also after COVID that when we prior to RGZ, obviously I was with a different developer and we were looking at villas 5-6 million euros, and you had maybe 1 or 2 or 3 a month. Now with RGZ Developers we moved on, and now we're looking at 7-8 million and plus. And mainly after COVID, I've noticed that the clientele, the request for villas, 10-15 million euros, has tripled. or quadrupled.
It's interesting, isn't it?
And the age is very important. We used to work with a client in the age, let's say 50, 55, nearly 60 years old. It's now 35, 40 years old. They're selling their business, or they're maintaining their business, but they're selling their property back home. They take the family and the kids, they're coming to live in Marbella because we've got the lifestyle here basically, and they can do everything online.
I was having a chat with the guy from James Edition, you know, the luxury portal, about exactly the same thing, and that the age range is coming down. And it's a global destination. You know, more and more people are coming here. There's been a flight of money here since COVID because people appreciate the lifestyle. They can work from here now, and it's a fascinating dynamic. And I you know, people have said to me, but it's going to end. You know, it's going to end. And who's got all this money? And it just keeps coming.
I was yesterday with one of the brands that we work with for one of our projects, just to show a little bit, to explain what is Marbella and how does it work. And I believe not only them, I think there's a lot of people in the world that do not understand how much money really circulates in and around Marbella. We've looked at details, for example, from one notary in Marbella that last year, for example, there were more than 4,000 properties sold above the 1 million euros.
It's a lot.
From that 4,000 euros, 300 units are above the 4 million euros. You tell me another city in and around the world that has these transfers.
That's London, isn't it? Or probably better than London. I mean, I speak to some London agents, and I know a few, and I tell them how much inventory we sell a month, and they're like, Jesus, that's a lot, you know, and they're in Mayfair.
Yeah.
Interesting. Just to touch, going back to the Collection Camojan. So 5 luxury villas, Cascada de Camojan. Why Cascada de Camojan? And for those people who don't know where it is, just explain roughly where Cascada is.
So you've got the two most luxury urbanizations in and around Marbella, close to the Golden Mile, is Sierra Blanca and Cascada de Camojan.
And they're right next door, aren't they?
Yeah, they're next to each other, and a very nice point for this is the security. So they have a top-end security service all around. And that's where we found a nice plot. It's a plot of nearly 6,000 square meters. And obviously, as a developer, what do? I cut it in pieces and sell it individually to make a little bit more money. That's what we do. So we got there 5 individual villas. You're looking at 6 bedrooms, 6 bathrooms. A total square meter built, we're looking around the 1,400 to nearly 1,800 square meter builds.
Okay, so sizable.
I'm a developer, so I do include the terraces in that, obviously. But then again, if I would take out the terraces, we're looking probably around the 1,100 square meters in total built. That includes the basements, obviously. Some of the villas have a partial panoramic sea view from ground floor or first floor. And again, prices there, we're starting at 7.6 million euros.
Okay, and just about to start the project.
But if you look now in Camojan, for example, if you look for any really decent villa, you're looking at 10, 12 million euros.
It's a very special place, but you pay for that privilege.
Yeah, absolutely. Top villas at the moment, you're looking at 28 million euros.
Okay. And then the next project, which I know you can't say too much about, 8 villas in Nueva Andalusia, which is a different area altogether, but still within the Marbella zone.
Absolutely.
And this time you're going branded. And I think you were one of, if not the first developer to actually start talking about this, although it hasn't quite hit the market yet.
No. We signed a contract more than 10 years ago with Pininfarina, the designer of Ferrari, obviously. But that has not evolved yet due to basically the land is not urban, and that is another issue that we're finding in Marbella at the moment. It's offer and demand. There's very little land left which is urban. So the land that we are talking here for the 8 villas is urban land. There was an existing project was a normal project which we modified completely, and we signed an exclusive agreement with Versace Home for the design, for the branding basically of the house. That means the design inside, the design outside of the house. It will have some very special features in and around the house of Versace.
That's exciting because Versace is up there in terms of brand and awareness of the brand. I've always been a little bit skeptical about branded residences, and I've done a few videos about this, about just be careful that the brand is getting involved, because some of them it's just kind of like a nameplate and they walk away and you're paying a premium for something that really might not be worth it. But like the Dolce & Gabbana one in Marbella, I get the feeling with the Versace involvement that it's genuine care and involvement from the people that matter.
Yeah, it's not like a furnished buy that a developer puts a building or a house there and they just, that the brand puts the furniture in.
Yeah.
Meaning after 10 years, if you take out the furniture, it has no name.
Yeah.
No, in our case with our project, it is, even if you take out the furniture, it's still a Versace with.
You can still see that it's Versace.
Yeah.
That's
Details are not really to be presented at this stage. We believe that a launch is foreseen by the first quarter of next year.
okay, of 2025.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. We'll all be excited to see what's happening with that, because I know there's been a little bit of teasing press, which has got us all quite excited.
That was the only teaser I'm allowed to do. So because you're working with such an exclusive brand, and with all due respect, it's only for 8 individual owners in the world.
Yeah.
This house. So that is really exclusive. If you take any other brand at the moment that is in and around Marbella area, you're looking at 53 or 98 units or more than 200 units. This is only 18.
Do you have a waiting list for these in case someone wants to be on it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Great. Just in case somebody's watching and fancies one, or fancies knowing more, then get in touch and we can certainly have a chat about what Lionel's doing. What next for you guys?
Well, we have a few other inciting, interesting developments in the pipeline.
That's what I wanted to hear.
Good, fantastic. No, obviously we're here to make money and to create money. So in the same area in Nueva Andalusia, and why we're doing only Marbella and Nueva Andalusia, because what we've seen as well 12 years ago when we had the downside, the crash, let's say, property prices came down, sales came down, the sales numbers at the notary, they came also down. That recuperated very quickly, but more quicker in Marbella. So we know that in case of a possible crisis, we've seen it, because it's been proven by COVID, that more money is starting to come here. And I even like to think really carefully that we used to say that the difference or the distance between the lower class and the middle class were getting bigger. We never spoke about the top class. I think now that I'm seeing a bigger gap created between the middle class and the top class, because the prices are getting more and more expensive. Hence, we always said, listen, if something happens, we try and focus on Marbella. Marbella, besides the microclimate that we have, it has a micro economy. It stays as it is. It might devaluate, let's say maybe 4 or 5%, but the speed it picks up again, it's unbelievable. So we try to maintain in Marbella. And having said that, we are looking now to do a project of an apart hotel, a 5-star apart hotel. We're still negotiating with a few operators.
I was going to say, would that be independently run or chain?
No, chain. And there I cannot mention names at this stage. But if you know what we're doing with a brand, then you could identify roughly what type of hotels we're talking about. Okay. What we're creating basically is a new concept, which does not exist in that area. 43 units, basically 1 to 4, 5, 6 bedroom units. You can join 2 units together, obviously, if that's what you want. Yes, you want to give everybody the private feeling, so private pool. We've got a basement with 2 bedrooms, natural daylight, ground floor with a bedroom, open plan kitchen, lounge dining area, private pool. First floor, 2 bedrooms, rooftop solarium, obviously with a kitchen area, with a nice jacuzzi area. And that's what we're trying to create. So I'm calling that, let's say, in our world, villa, semi-detached townhouse. And that's looking at prices around the 1.3 million euros. Well, you tell me, off market, where can you find that at that price range in Marbella? It does not exist.
And there'll be the hotel amenities on site. So
absolutely, 5-star amenities. Yes.
That's very interesting. I mean, that'll be interesting for investors, because there isn't a product for investors at the moment.
No, not as such.
Well, there's 1 or 2, but nothing exciting.
Not at this, because this what we're going to offer is, because it's an apart hotel, there's different restrictions. So they're buying the units where they can actually use it 2 months of the year, where the rest of the time they have to give it back into the operator, and they put the units all in the pool and they rent it out at a long term or short term.
Yeah.
Rent to return at the moment we're looking, let's say, a gross between 6 to 8%.
Okay, so it's an attractive yield, and particularly if you get a bit of personal.
We're starting at 450,000 euros.
That's great. Can I have that one?
I have a list there, and our partners, there is already 4 people on the list.
Okay. Yeah. Brilliant. Yeah. That sounds exciting, because again, it's something a little bit different, and it's something for investors, particularly with the nonsense around the short-term lettings at the moment, and the the vulnerability of those types of properties.
Well, this is one of the reasons, because the law is changing slowly, but it will change obviously for the restrictions, and it will affect real estate agents as well, obviously. So we're trying to play a little bit on that line as well. Like I said earlier, it's really an offer and demand. We like to analyze first what we're going to do, how the market is on the luxury villas and on the apart hotel, because this is not the first apart hotel and definitely not the last apart hotel that we're going to do.
Well, that's good news, because I think there's a huge opportunity for someone who does it and does it well, because it bridges that gap between the clients that want to buy a holiday home.
Yeah.
So they want to use it for 6 or 8 weeks a year, but that's it. But they also want to make a bit of money when they're not using it. And the way it's going in this country is that they're going to restrict the money you can make, you know, in the times that you're not using it. So this fills that gap very nicely.
Yeah, and you still have, obviously, there's a big percentage of clients that are still looking to buy a second holiday home. They're 35, 45 years old, they've got a few small kids, and they want to use it a few times holiday of the year. If those restrictions will come, they're buying it with the purpose to rent it out to cover the fixed cost. And this could become a problem in the future, and it will become. So hence we're trying to play into it in a different way already.
Very, very interesting. So the apart hotel project, which is very exciting, that's called Nikki Living.
Yes, correct.
Why Nikki Living?
Nikki Living, well, there's 2 partners in here. Obviously, it's ourselves. So we are partners in this project together with a second partner. And his daughter is called Nikki. Okay. Hence, he decided to call it Nikki Living.
Quite right. That explains that one.
Yeah, no problem.
Lionel, thank you so much. That's been absolutely fascinating. Great to have you on board, and thanks for taking the time to come. Looking forward to working with you.
Cheers. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.